Welcome, everybody, to Lessons from the Cockpit. I'm your host, Belinda Sandor. Let's get started. Hey, everybody, I'm Belinda Sandor, and I'm going to be your host today for Lessons from the Cockpit. Lessons from the Cockpit is where I'm going to share both tactical and practical information every week for your virtual assistant business. So I hope you'll join me at this time every Friday at noon Eastern. I'd love to hear where you're coming in from, so let me know in the comments. I see you guys piling in. This is awesome, awesome, awesome. So let me know where you're coming in from in the comments. So Lessons from the Cockpit is brought to you by the VA Connection. And at the VA Connection, we work with aspiring and established VAs to help them build a thriving business through our free global online community, courses, and coaching programs. Today, we're going to talk about networking groups, and we're going to talk about the benefits, the logistics, and why I want you to think about having an event like this yourself. And what I'm going to, so now I'm going to introduce myself to you because I know that there are some of you who we have not met before. I see so many faces out there, and then I'm going to say hello to you. So let me introduce myself real quick. So this is me and my daughter, Emily, and this is 11 years ago when she was 9 and I was just starting my VA business. And I'm going to have to change what I say because in a month from now, actually a little less than a month from now, I will have been in business as a VA for 12 years, which is crazy, really crazy. And when I started this business, it was really at one of the lowest points in my life. Things just got really out of control, and it just was like, it was a lot of chaos. It was a lot of chaos. I was a newly single mom. I didn't have a job. I had accumulated a ton of debt. Emily and I had to move 3 times in 4 years before we settled down. And everywhere I looked, there was a struggle, and it was exhausting. It was exhausting. And the big part was I was so overwhelmed and uncertain, really for the first time in my life. And I had no idea how I was going to get out of this mess, and the worst part was there was a part of me that was sort of nagging, wondering if I was going to be able to get out of it because I hadn't paid the mortgage in a year. We were going to have to move. The housing market was crazy back then, and it was really a struggle. And I sort of tease my family and say, give me a problem I can't solve if you want to see me go crazy. And that's kind of how it was. Everywhere I looked, there was just, another minimum payment, another this, another that, letters coming in the mail, how much I owed. I couldn't even look at it. It was so overwhelming. But here's the thing, but I have this little delicious girl, and it took me a long time to have her. And I didn't want her to be in daycare. I didn't want her to be shuttled around. I wanted to be home with her, and I needed to make a bunch of money at the same time. And corporate for me was always like, 9 in the morning to 8 o'clock at night, and people calling me and all kinds of things. It was pretty nonstop, and I didn't want that either. So the thing is that I'm kind of a homebody anyway, and the things that make me happy are going for a long bike ride, being her Girl Scout leader, really simple everyday things. But I also really needed to make a living. There was no plan B. There was no pile of money. There was no one who was in a position to help me financially. So I had to figure it out. So what I did was I decided to do admin work. I was pretty good at it. I liked it. I kind of liked the repetitive nature of it. I'm an introvert, so I can do the work by myself. And I also like the feeling of taking something that for someone else was kind of chaotic and bringing order to it. I love to do that. And that was really, at the core of what admin work is, taking something that's kind of messy and fixing it. So I decided to do that. And I just started telling everyone I know. I knew. And the first client I got was at the school bus stop. So I'm standing there in the morning with Emily, probably looking a mess. And, the dads are like, they're in the morning, and the mom's usually picked up in the afternoon, and talking to the dads. And one of them said, what's new? And I said, oh, I'm starting this business. I'm going to work for myself. I'm going to do admin work for entrepreneurs, and probably talk too much. And then his whole face changed, and he said, we have to talk. We have to talk. I started a business a month ago, which I had no idea. And he said, I'm drowning. I'm totally drowning. My wife is going nuts. I need you to help me. And so I started to help him right away. And it wasn't virtual at the time, but it was great. I could walk. I didn't have a car at the time. I could walk from where I live to his house. And I did everyday kinds of things. I paid his bills. I set up his QuickBooks. I knew how to do that from a corporate job that I had. And it worked really well. And then my next client, you guys have heard me tell the story. I found in the buffet line of a wedding reception. I'm standing there, this guy and his wife, we're talking, and he says, what do you do? And I tell him, I don't even have a business card. I don't have a company name, nothing. He hands me his card. I connect with him on LinkedIn. A couple of weeks later, he wants to know if I can help him with an event. I'm like, you bet. You bet. So I helped him, and I continue to work with him. I continue to work with him now, all these years later. So if you guys are out there and you're looking on social media and you're stalking strangers and you're handing out flyers to entrepreneurs, you don't have to do that. Just get out there and tell everybody you know. And in fact, I'm going to tell you at the end of this, we're having another Kickstart challenge. We're kicking off on July 25th. So if you want to know exactly how I have a steady stream of clients coming into my business, put that on your calendar. It's a week-long, 5 days in a row training, and I will teach you exactly what I do to get a steady stream of clients in my business, because it's really critical, right? It's really critical. So we're going to hit the fast forward button. So I just kept doing it. And now, like I said, 11 years in business, almost 12. I've worked with over 200 entrepreneurs. And here's the other thing. This was a shocker when I realized it. So the first year I was in business, I made $70,000. Every year after that, I made $100,000 a year or more. So when you add that up over, 10 years of $100,000, it's $1 million. And it was probably, more like 1.2 or 1.3. I would love to look at that. But it is something you can do from home, sitting in a nook, in your house, if you know what to do. So here we are today. I'm going to have to change what I say about this too, because he's almost not my brand new husband. We haven't been married a year yet, but we will be in about a month. So, and these are our kids. These are our 5 kids, and life is really different now. The finances are handled. They're not gone. They're definitely not gone. I had a pretty big pile, but I know where I stand. I know where I stand. I'm able to make, payments and pay it down, and I know when it will be over. And that is such a huge relief, because for several years it was really touch and go. And my cell phone has not been turned off for non-payment for a really long time. And that used to happen. I'd be like, oh, there's no money in the checking account. I'm talking on the phone, and all of a sudden it's not working, and that, talk about stress. That was crazy stress. That was really crazy. And now here I am. I have a thriving business. My daughter just turned 21. She's doing great. She's doing an internship, a local internship. So I get to be with her all summer, and I can breathe again. I can really breathe again, which is amazing. It's amazing. So you guys, wherever you are, you can get to the other side for sure. So I want to say hello to you guys. So this is Tamar. Hello. And Carrie's here from Iowa. Julie's here from Connecticut. I'm in Connecticut too. And we've got someone from Tampa, and Tamar is in Manhattan. Hello, Frederic in sunny Miami. Oh, you're in the US. That's awesome. That's awesome. Great. Michigan. Love that. Teresa, hello from Kentucky. And Tori's in South Carolina. And Stephanie is in, how do you say that? Is that Guantanamo? Is that how you say that? Or is that a different place, I wonder? Mexico, Minnesota, hello. Minnesota, soon to be Arizona. It's hot in Arizona right now. Yeah, Carrie, thanks for saying that. The challenge is, I think it's a great place to start. and Kyla, hello, and Kara in Denton, Texas. I had a sorority sister in Denton, Texas, and every time you type that, I think about her. Her name is Gina, and I think she still lives there. Well, that would be crazy if you knew her. It would be really crazy. All right, so let's jump into this whole topic of the networking. Okay, so like I just mentioned, as a virtual assistant, having a steady stream of clients is really important. And that's why I'm always encouraging you. I'm trying to help you put yourself out there so that people will know who you are and what you do in your VA business. And if you've been around me much, it's, I call it sprinkling, sprinkling. And the other thing that it's called is relationship marketing. That's sort of the official phrase for it. But the reason I call it sprinkling is because it's a couple of things. One, marketing, it sounds hard and it sounds boring and it sounds like something I don't know how to do. But if you're sprinkling, it's like telling people about your business over here and over there and all the places. And I think it's just, it has a different feeling for me, a much different feeling. Different feeling. And I also think of it as like sprinkles, all these different colors flying through the air. So sprinkling. Now, a lot of people go to networking events as a way to sprinkle, right? Because they meet people there. But a thing that people don't think about is hosting the networking event, right? Everyone's always looking for a networking event. Where can I go? Where do where are your networking groups? But I want to tell you a couple of stories, and I think you're just like, I'm going to explain when the light bulb went off for me. Okay. So I moved here it'll be 7 years ago in about a month. And I was networking like crazy because I wanted to make friends. And I met this lovely woman, her name is Christine, and she hosted a networking event. And I thought, that's kind of crazy. I never really knew who hosted networking events. For some reason, I thought it was always like organizations or something like that. So I go to her networking event, and she's a real estate agent, and she's hosting the event in a local dress shop. It's at night. She's serving wine and cheese. The dress shop owner is giving a discount. There's like 35 women here, right? And everybody got all dressed up in their stuff. Partly that's because where I live is kind of fancy. And she is up at the front of the room welcoming everyone, and everyone's attention is on her. And she's the host for the night. So she's providing the cheese and the crackers and the wine. And, her friend probably owns the dress shop, so they're working together on this. And I thought, this is the smartest thing on the planet, because all of a sudden I could see the front and the back of the business all at once. So on the front, she's having this lovely event. On the back, she's standing up in front of 35 women who could potentially be her clients and introducing herself, right? And I thought, that is just crazy. And so I started to think about, it planted the seed. It didn't make me want to run out and start a networking group, but I definitely looked at her differently. I started to see how her mind was working when building her brand new real estate business. And I thought that was really crazy, how smart that was. And so she brings in a speaker, or they have a different kind of event, just, mingling and networking. So by hosting these events, she's got a place to invite people, right? She's providing a social occasion. There's really not that much work if she's having it not in, she doesn't have to clean her house, right? Because she's not having it in her house. She has a place to be generous, right? Come to my thing. I want you to come to my thing. I'm going to introduce you to some of my friends. It's going to be great. And then she has a reason to stay in touch afterward, and we're going to go into detail. So can you guys start to see how smart this is to do this? So Rose is here from the UK, and Kristen is excited. All right, Stephanie, I'm going to try this. Wanatato. Okay, cool. Thank you. Sprinkling makes it seem more genuine. I agree. Because marketing, it's that word itself, it feels like, I don't know, like I'm trying to get somebody to do something, and I'm not. I'm just sprinkling, here you go, just like I did at the school bus stop. I started a new business, and and the thing that I want you to remember is you're a solution to someone's problem. Will was drowning, right? He was drowning and he needed help, and I helped him solve the problem. Oh, Christian says, love the sprinkle narrative. Thank you. A lot of, yeah, I don't know how I came up with that, but it just was like, wow, you know. So, so those are really, you know, the benefits of doing it. Okay. Staying in touch with people, being generous, all of the things that are at the core of my business, you know, and the core of what I know you guys are, you know, generous, supportive, welcoming, all of those things. You want your VA business to feel like that. And this is one way you can do that. Okay. Now, so just review the benefits. In the beginning of the meeting, you welcome everyone. You have a legitimate reason to tell everyone about yourself, right? I'm Belinda Sandor. Welcome to my thing. I'm so glad you came. Tonight we're going to do X, Y, and Z. A little bit about me. I've been a resident of wherever for 10 years. You know, I work as a virtual assistant. I help solo professionals with 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much for coming. This is great. Okay. Now everyone in the room is paying attention. Here's the bad news. Everyone in the room is paying attention. So if you're not comfortable in front of the room, you're going to have to figure out how to do that. And for me, I totally had to do that when I started having a networking group, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So what you're going to have to do is, you know, practice what you say, take a deep breath. In the beginning, when I did that, I had a note card because I was really scared I was going to forget something. And I wrote in really big letters, you know, and I could find my way. And I probably had to say a couple times, you know, in the very beginning, let me just peek at my notes, which feels like kind of unprofessional and rookie, but I was rookie. I didn't know what I was doing. I was really nervous, but I wanted to learn how to do it, right? I wanted to learn how to do it. So Leah, who's one of my VA school students, we were talking about this in study hall yesterday, and she was talking about how you have to be on. You know, she thinks of being on. So before stepping in front of the room, it's like, okay, I'm on, let's go, you know, and sort of acting your way through it while you're doing it. Okay. So let's talk about how to get started. So there are many ways you can do this. Okay. So you can have a one-time event like I did when I started Rocket Girl Solutions. I invited everybody I knew who was local to my home. I served wine and beer and hors d'oeuvres and, you know, had music on. It was an open house, a couple of hours. And yes, it was a lot of work, you know, the food and the, you know, just the cleaning the house, right? Because people are going to be everywhere. And then I made party favors. So what I did was I bought little votive candle, I don't know what to call them, candle holders, I guess. It was a little cube, and I filled them with Hershey's Kisses, and I wrapped them in some, you know, plastic little bags, and then tied a ribbon to them, and then attached my business card. And so that way people had my business card. Actually, you know what? I didn't do it that way. I'm just remembering. I tucked the business card in the front of the candle holder so that it was right in front and people didn't miss it. And then I tied a ribbon and gave them out to everybody as I said goodbye to them as they left the party. So it was a nice way to do that. Now you can do that to celebrate your new business, or you can also do that to celebrate a birthday. Okay. So one of the things so let me tell you about someone who does that. So my friend Michael Katz, who you guys hear me talk about all the time, he did this just Wednesday, and I went up to Boston. So he works in Hopkinton, which is where the Boston Marathon starts. And what he does every year is he invites his entire email list. Now he's been in business for 22 years. He is the email newsletter guy. And so he has thousands and thousands of people on his list. So he invites everybody from all over the world. So here he's got an invitation, come to my party. Then he's saying, my business turned 22. And so now that's pretty impressive, right? Your business is 22. Wow. You know, but even if your business is 1 or 2 or 3, it's impressive. Having a business is not easy. So he tells everybody that he knows. Then here's what happens. So I set up the sign up for him. We use Jot forms, and people RSVP. And when they say yes, they're coming, the screen changes to a ticket. They print the ticket and they're going to get free ice cream. So he has this party at a place that serves ice cream. So I call the ice cream manager ahead of time and I say, we're having the party. Remember me? We've had it the last 10 years. She says yes. And she says, come see me right before. So Michael and I go 15 minutes before the party starts. We give them the ticket so that she can tell her staff, and everybody has free ice cream. 30, 40 people show up. But think about the reach of that. Okay, so he invited thousands of people. People are connecting with him. Congratulations, this is awesome. All the things, right? At the end of that party, he has a guest book he brings every year, and he takes a bunch of pictures, and it's really fun. But get this. So he didn't clean his house, no bathroom cleaning required. All these people came, really a lot of fun. And the ice cream, I don't know how much it ended up to be this year because I had to leave early, well, after the party, but I usually hang out with him. We hung out before. It was last year like $230. So for $230, thousands of people are invited for ice cream. I had the biggest, most gigantic, fabulous ice cream ever. Everyone's happy. They're networking. They're talking. And he's the star, right? He's the total star. So you can do something like that as well. Now, I want to tell you another story of how this can work. So what we've done so far is we've talked about a one-time event that never happens. We've talked about an annual event that people look forward to, right? And then, so here's how you can do it and more of a membership situation. So when I first moved here almost 7 years ago, I joined a networking group. It's called the Entrepreneurial Women's Club, EWC. And I was a member for 2 years. I loved it. I loved being part of it. And I just made a ton of friends. It was like they were my people. They were my people. And that takes a little work to find your people. Especially when you're new, and you're, how old was I? Well, how old am I now? I must have been 55 years old. Because I didn't live here and grow up with my daughter here and do all the things with the kids. She was in high school, so it was a challenge to meet people. So go to this club. I join it. I don't miss a meeting. I love it. I make friends with people. I start to grow my business locally here by, reaching out to the people I wanted to be friends with, and it's awesome. Now, 2 years later, the woman who started it, her name was Heather, asked me and my friend Lisa to go out for coffee, and which it was just seemed strange, and so both of us were like, I wonder what's up. And I was thinking, I wonder if she doesn't want to manage EWC anymore. And she didn't. So she's explaining this, and I know me immediately. I'm like, how can I do this? How can I do this? How can I do this? And Lisa was doing the same thing. I could see it on her face. And we're both like, we'll do it, and she's like, said, sleep on it. It's a big deal. And so we did. And we decided, she stepped down and we stepped in, and we made it our own. We created a website. We charged $300 a year for membership. We had 8 meetings a year. The meetings were open to the general public, but they had to be entrepreneurs. And the members got a discount for lunch. We charged for the lunch. We had a caterer come, beautiful, like quinoa and not smoked salmon, salmon, grilled salmon, and all kinds of fresh vegetables. It was really something to look forward to. And to enjoy. It was an afternoon out. The meeting was 2 hours, and it was really great. So that's a way that you can do it as well. Now, this did a ton for my business, but it did not do a ton for my bank account. So I just want to say that out loud. I think Lisa and we did it for 4 years, and I think each of us maybe made $2,000 or $3,000. Maybe. So the real benefit to it was not in making money from the business. In the beginning, we thought maybe we could, but it was just too much. We even had a chapter in Boston for a while. We really looked at this model, and we just finally sort of settled into the fact that it was just going to help both of our businesses. Lisa is a coach. She's part of the VA Connection, and she does mindset sessions for our VA school students 4 times a year. And So anyway, that was the main benefit that we saw from it, getting clients, staying in front of people. We did a newsletter every month talking about what was coming up, member happening. So we turned it into a whole thing. And it, like I said, it did a ton for my business. It really did. All right. So there's some things to think about when you want to plan an event. So you decide on virtual or in person. You want to decide on the format. If it's going to be a speaker, you could be speaking, or if it's going to be interactive. We at EWC, we did all different kinds of meetings. The one that was the most popular, believe it or not, was when everybody came together and they brought their favorite thing, whether it was like an application or a book or whatever, an app, and everybody went around the room, they introduced themselves, and I made a pretty Word document and handed them out with the EWC logo and then, 25 lines or whatever. And everybody wrote down what everyone else said. So everyone in the room left with 25 or 30 or however many people we had, ideas of cool things. And everyone loves that. So it doesn't have to be like some big impressive speaker at all. It can just be a fun time. So what you're going to want to do after you decide on the format is choose the date and create a list of people to invite, right? You'll want to set up registration. You can do this using Jot Forms, free version. This is how you're going to get the contact information, the people's names who are coming, their email address. You're going to want to encourage people to bring their friends because this is all about expanding your network and your reach. You'll decide whether or not you're going to charge for the event. And you can do that with Jot Forms too. You can do it with PayPal. There's a million different ways you can do that. Some little logistical things like, will you have name tags? Are you going to be serving food or drink? Sometimes Lisa and I would have events in the morning. We would have, for members only, we would have breakfast, and so that could be really fun as well. It's important to have an agenda for these events, to think through ahead of time, the timing to keep you on track, to keep you focused. And then you're also going to want to plan a wrap up at the end, something to say in front of the group, thank you for coming, all of that. And then if you're having another meeting coming up, be sure to mention that, the time and the date. Now, the thing is that this is where the magic happens after the event, right? And absolutely, during the event, it's fun, it's exciting. If you're running it, you're running it, so there's not a lot of time to chit chat or hang out. But when you think about the benefit of all the people that you've touched in this 1 or 2 hour period, who know you better, who now are able to, they're reminded of you, spread the word about you, it's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. So after the event, this is where you lean in and make the connections, okay? You have the list of all the people who signed up. Thank them for coming. Send individual emails. Thank you for coming. It was so great to see you. You might say, I'd love for you to have, for us to have a drink together or coffee or tea. Expand your circle with the new people that have come in. Reach out to them. Thank them for coming and start relationships. So the relationships are really at the whole core of the whole, of sprinkling. So I just want to see what the comments are. Such a memorable way to network. Yeah, and it's really fun. And usually when I had a party, you get a new dress, right? Hello from Kenya. A networking idea is awesome, but doesn't this come in after one is established to continue sprinkling? Yeah, you can do it either way. You can definitely do it either way, Magdalena. I love Sprinkle. It helps me get email addresses also. See it as, so here Jenny says, see it as a grand opening for your business. Just that you don't have a store, you can always have an event to network with people with the goal to present and promote your business. Yes. Yeah, it can be really fun. Don't get me wrong though, you're not going to make any money, and it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. I mean, we have the Entrepreneurial Women's Club when we were meeting in person. And then we went virtual for a while during the pandemic, and then it's virtual again now. I walk in that place, everybody knows me. They know what I do. This place is filled with entrepreneurs, filled, So it's great. It's really great. All right, so I want to talk about taking it to the next level. So, have an event, see how it feels. Maybe you want to, do this on a regular basis. Start your own, something like the Entrepreneurial Women's Club. I want you to, if you're going to formalize this, I want you to consider having a partner. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and you don't just send out one email and everybody shows up. Wouldn't life be great? It's not like that. You send an email, you send a reminder to register, and then Lisa and I would reach out individually, and we would invite people because that's what really got people to the event. Lisa and I had very specific roles. I did the website, I did the money, I did I did the newsletters, the more VA stuff, and then Lisa did the words. She's a writer. She's really good at it. She led the meeting because, especially in the beginning, I was very uncomfortable. This was before the VA connection. I was not comfortable, so I would just stand up there with her, and she would say, "Anything to add?" I'm like, "No, welcome." And then in the end, I got more comfortable. But she took the lead, and she was wanted to grow her business more than I needed to. She was in a transition, and I was up to my ears with work, so I didn't mind at all her having the spotlight. I was thrilled. We formalized the business. Because we didn't know where it was going, and we tend to be kind of rule followers, Lisa and I, which is a good thing. We set up an LLC. We got a bank account. We paid taxes every year. Greg did our taxes. We got an EIN, and we set it up as a formal business. And we created a website, a member directory, and all different kinds of things like that. So there is a way to really take it to the next level and make it a business. And but even just having it, quarterly meetings, that could be, and just invite everybody, or once a year to your birthday party, could really move the needle for you. And it's it's kind of like after prom is over and you're married and you've had your babies, it's like another way to celebrate, So think about doing that. So any questions? Yeah, like it is a great way to network. For sure. And don't forget, you can get a new outfit. All right. That's always key. All right. So I want to wrap up. Thank you so much for coming. This has been great. We have lessons from the cockpit every Friday at noon. I hope you put it on your calendar and join me. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys. We're streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Please click the subscribe button if you're on YouTube so you'll be notified when we go live. We're also on Twitter. I want to invite you to our next event, which is the VA Client Kickstart Challenge. We're getting started again on July 25th at noon. We've got a Facebook group. We've got all kinds of exciting things going on that whole week. We're going to be meeting Monday through Friday at noon. We're going to have prizes and bonus sessions and all kinds of crazy to help you get a steady stream of clients in your business. All right, because that's at the core of what makes this all work, getting the clients. Okay. All right, you guys, thank you for coming. Bye for now. I'll see you next week.